The 5 Kind Elves. Do you know what a fairy tale is? Stories about fairies, elves, witches, giants, dragons, and talking animals are fairy tales. You must have heard a number of fairy tales from your grandparents. A boy may become a frog. A princess may sleep for 100 years. Here you can read another fairy tale about a poor shoemaker and 5 kind elves who helped them. How do the shoemaker and his wife thank them for their help? Read on. Once upon a time in Italy there lived a poor shoemaker named John with his wife Sherry. Lately he had become short of work. All his money was also finished. The shoemaker was left with just a small piece of leather to make a pair of shoes. John: "This is my last piece of leather left, and there is no money either. How will we buy food?" Sherry: "Do not worry, my dear. God will show us the way." The same night, John cut out a pair of shoes with the last piece of leather left. Planning to stitch it in the morning, he went to sleep. The next morning when he got up, he found a pleasant surprise. John: Sherry, Sherry, come here. Just look at this, a pair of bright shining shoes." Sherry: "Oh, they are really very beautiful. I knew that God will not be unkind to us." John went to the market and sold the pair of shoes. Then he bought some leather with the money he got. The next morning, the same thing happened again. He found a new pair of shoes stitched and ready with the piece of leather he had cut the previous night. This continued for a few days. However, after a few days, John went up to Sherry. John: "We have to find out who our saviors are." That night they decided to hide behind a door and wait. As the night passed and the clock struck 12, they saw 5 elves entering their room. They had tiny shoemaker's tools in their hands. The elves sang and danced as they sat down to work.
"We are the tiny little elves. We like to help the kind but needy. We like to feed every poor body except the ones who are greedy."
After finishing their task, the little elves went away. Sherry: "How kind-hearted these elves are. I will stitch some nice new clothes for them to express our gratitude." The next night, when the elves came, then they were overjoyed to find 5 sets of new, beautiful clothes for them in the place of leather. They put on the new clothes. Then they sang and danced and made merry all night. John and his wife were very happy to see the elves accepting their gifts and their merriment. They never forgot the kindness of the little elves.